15 minutes had come and gone. The deadline was passed. Did the commander feel stupid? No, simply for the reason that the time was set for a specific action to be performed. Captain Romanoff believed then, and still does, that the action needed to be performed was that something wanted the entire crew to be off that ship. But for what reason he does not know. If the crew had have hesitated in preparing and launching the lifeboats and had missed the deadline, then things might have gotten horrific. As it is, not all the lifeboats could be launched, leaving some virtually hanging from the side of the ship. But 15 minutes is 15 minutes, and they beat their best time by 48 seconds. Now the captain is looking at the lifeboats and his crew rowing out to sea, but heading in the same direction as another group of survivors who were good Navy men underwater, but terrible seamen on the surface. An exerted push, though, allows the lifeboats full of Russian seamen to catch up to the U.S. Navy men proceeding slowly in their journey for survival. But why the hurry to catch up to their military rivals in the ocean away from the ships? Were they going to have a battle within a battle? And did it make sense to harbor any more hatred, especially because there is no doubt on anyone's mind of what will happen to them when and if the two ships explode? Shock should have shown on the face of the submarine's commander as the better equipped lifeboats met up with them in the water. But the weapons in the tanker crew's hands said a lot, until the moment the extra weapons were distributed to the submarine's crew. And this camaraderie was not easily achieved, but obtained only because they fought the same battle, but the two ships won. A common bond now exists to survival. But as the boats holding each commander moves closer together, a strange phenomenon occurs on the Russian ship. The remaining lifeboats that were not needed to save the crew and dangling on the side of the tanker are launching themselves without a human being in sight. The commanders can only watch as the ship literally is being abandoned. These launches, though, that are hitting the water at the same time, are not following the other lifeboats fleeing, but are headed for the submarine instead. A submarine that has finally settled at a safe level while also starting to move, but not following the big ship this time, but opting to parallel its course instead. The fins of the mammals, though, have virtually left them alone, as they have taken their place alongside each vessel, performing as escorts, like a queen to a ball. How many fins can you get into one ocean? A lot if you stack the sharks, the dolphins, and the whales together. The combined complements of sailors hear thunder, though, but there is not a cloud in the sky. And now they hear crying. But what man sitting on this bunch of life-preserving craft is comfortable enough to showcase a sensitive side? No one is laughing, though, because it is hard to take back a snicker, especially when you find it is a shipmate. So laugh at men all you want, but surely they can cry when no one is looking. But how can you do that if you're thrown together? Maybe some individuals are stronger than others are, but situations in life can still bring a tear to anyone's eye. These men of two different militaries, two different countries, are not excluded from caring. It is still a wonder, though, to see the type of man that's not afraid to show emotion. Is he a big man or small, sensitive or a bully? But at the moment, no one is fessing up, even though the sobbing continues, but it sounds greater than before, and the direction is away and not within. The question is then answered concerning the thunder, because in actuality It was nothing more than the crack of a hatch door, reverberating across the expanse of sea. The militaries of two countries are no longer looking upon their own vessels as their attention changes to the rear deck hatch of the submarine as it flies open. This time, though, it is more than the previously thought dead U.S. sailors as they would emerge. The men might appear wet from the foray in the flooded chambers, but they look alive and not drowned, and each unexpected survivor is holding a parcel that is dry and wrapped in pink and blue blankets. And no more crying had to be heard to know these sailors were holding a special cargo, as they easily stepped into a lifeboat that once filled would drop away from the submersible, allowing another boat to take its place. The commanders are exhausted, but stand firm with their crews to make way for additional boats, when suddenly a sometimes hard-nosed Russian captain picks up a box of powdered milk and then looks towards heaven and cries.